Welcome back to the capsON Sports Podcast. My name is Tyler Blumenstick, joined by Sam Meehan, Anthony Mano, and Nick Tobias. We're bringing you a special Week 11 episode just for Thursday night. We have the Arizona Cardinals visiting the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks are 3-point favorites, total at 57.5. What's up? What do we got?
Just working, Everybody go out there and support your local shop, right?
It's division game. Both teams 6-3. It should be a fun one. The last time these two teams played, it came down to the last little bit of game. Cardinals game last week obviously came down to the last little bit of game. One on a Hail Mary, and that's probably the best catch that I've seen, at least the past couple of years. Yeah, I mean, we don't get Hail Marys that often, so when they do, it's kind of cool to see.
It was just ridiculous the fact that he came even down with that. Like, there were 8 hands on that football, maybe 10.
Yeah,
he came down.
Yeah, and that's in front of Tre'Davious White, Jordan Poyer, and Micah Hyde. That's about as good a safety cornerback combo as you're going to get in this league. And Hopkins
that's the best receiver in the league right there.
Yeah, I mean, the best receiver in the league shouldn't come down with a ball against 3 of the better safeties in the league, but it's just dumb luck sometimes like that.
All right, so let's dive into this week. I'm just going to start off with some statistics real quick. Both teams are 5-4 against the spread. Arizona's 3-1 on the road. Seattle's 3-1 at home. Arizona's 3-0 as an underdog, and Seattle's 4-3 as a favorite. So if that sways you at all, I'm going to go on Arizona this week. I think the Seahawks defense is just getting worse and worse and worse every single week. Tyler Lockett is questionable. Chris Carson is still out / questionable. So we don't know.
Tyler Lockett is playing. He's listed as questionable because he hasn't practiced all week.
I hope he plays. He's on my fantasy team.
No, Pete Carroll came out already saying that he's playing no matter what.
All right. Well, it's a good thing. I mean, he needs to play. It's a huge game for them. I guess as far as Russell Wilson is concerned, he's been making mistakes the past couple of weeks.
I think Russell Wilson and Daniel Jones switched minds at some point. Some Freaky Friday scenario. Because Russell Wilson has 10 turnovers in the past 4 weeks. And one of those games was against San Fran where he had 0. So essentially 10 in their last 3 losses. They're 1-3 in these last 4 games. They're beginning to maybe not quite spiral quite yet. But maybe offensively. But defensively, they're looking worse and worse by the week. And, I mean, this Cardinals team not too long ago put up 34 points or 31 points against the Dolphins, who are looking like a top-tier defense in the NFL right now. And, yeah, like, the Cardinals defense is, like, middle of the pack, not bad, nothing great either, but I trust them more than Seattle defensively. And so, yeah, 3 points I think is easy. I'd take a money line. I'd take them as a favorite in this game even.
I trust my local flag football team's defense over the Seattle defense right now. I don't know. Like, eventually it has to fix itself, right? Right? Mm-hmm. Maybe. I don't think this week's the time for that to happen. I'm taking Arizona +3. I just think the last time these two teams met showed a lot, and that showed the Cardinals can stick with them. And now they're getting better. They're coming off a big win, and like you said, the Seahawks are coming off big losses. I don't think it's I think it's going to be close, but if you're giving the Cardinals 3 points, I think that's easy enough in my book.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about how bad the Seattle defense is. I mean, last week they held the Rams to 23 points, which is pretty impressive considering the Rams have a pretty good offense. So I think their defense is there. Has it performed? No, but it's there. I mean, the Bills, the Bills had that game against the Cardinals last week, and it took a Hail Mary for a 60-yard bomb for the Cardinals to win that game. I don't typically like coming on, being on teams that come off of an emotional last-second win. They could be riding high into this week, considering it is a short week too. I just think Russell Wilson is too experienced, too smart, too good of a football player to let this game slip. And we talk about what he's done the past couple of weeks in terms of turnovers. But this is a get-right game for him. This would be the first time the Cardinals sweep the Seattle Seahawks in the season since like 2006 or 2009, one of those numbers, which is pretty significant. Pete Carroll, I think, is the superior coach in this situation. I just trust Seattle. And, I mean, it's 3 points. And I think they win by a touchdown, to be honest with you. I think it's going to be a back-and-forth game. But, again, these are two teams coming off short weeks. Season's been going in different directions opposite directions pretty much all year. But I just like Russell Wilson here, and you get Tyler Lockett, even though he's questionable, and you're supposed to finally get a decent running back. And Chris Carson's questionable, but Carlos Hyde's supposed to play, who is decent. I mean, he's better than DJ Dallas or anybody else they have back there. So, I mean, I'm going to back Seattle -3 here.
All right.
So it's a 3-1?
I guess so. I mean, I feel like I want to make my case a little bit more here. I mean, I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. I mean, that's suggested by the 57-point total. I just think there's more to worry about with Arizona on offense, especially if Chris Carson doesn't play. You have a quarterback who has threat with his legs,
the
best wide receiver in the league, 2 quick receivers that are deep threats as well in Christian Kirk and Andy Isabella, and then a reliable vet in Larry Fitzgerald. I mean, they'll get you from all angles, and Seattle couldn't stop a nosebleed right now. I mean, I don't know.
It seems like it's too easy, doesn't it?
Underdog kind of thing for me.
I feel like it seems like it's too easy.
It feels like a trap game.
Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
It's another reason I'm going Seattle. It feels like it's too easy.
It does feel like it's too easy, but you're giving me a field goal at home, and they've already beaten them on the road. I mean,
it's in Seattle.
It's in Seattle, yeah.
The
Cardinals beat the Seahawks week 7 in overtime.
Yeah, I got missed up. I was looking at the last time they played.
And it took overtime last time. We talked about how bad that Seattle defense is, and it even took overtime. It took the Seattle defense to really mess up at the end of that game to blow it what they had. I mean, like I said, I think Seattle's a superior team. I think Arizona's up and coming. Next year they'll be very, very good. I just don't think that they have it, especially coming off of a short week on an emotional last-second win that they realistically shouldn't have had.
I think they just keep that kind of energy going into this week. And I don't think they're up and coming. I think they're here already.
Yeah, they're here.
Arizona.
I agree.
I think they're a better overall team than Seattle. Simple as that.
Like one key of the game, I think, is going to be seeing how Kyler Murray deals with Jamal Adams bringing pressure off the edge. I feel like that's going to be super interesting, and seeing if he can address that and get out of the pocket or get the ball away pretty quick.
Well, he's been one of the worst safeties like in coverage this season.
I'm not talking about in coverage. I'm saying more.
I know. Well, that's just what he is.
He's never been a coverage safety. He's always been a blitz.
Right. He's a box safety, but they have problems getting pressure in the first place, and that's without blitz in the safety and no Shaquille Griffin, no Quentin Dunbar. They might need him over the top, even though that's not his strength. I just think the Cardinals offensively have too much to go here to boot.
I mean, it just seems like it's another game that's going to come down to the last possession. Seattle's defense is poor, and we talk about how poor their defense is, but they've been in games. I mean, besides getting blown out by Buffalo a couple weeks ago, they've been in almost every game that they've played. You do that again, and I think they'll be all right.
The thing is that they've done that against inferior competition as well. So, it'll be close, regardless of who they're playing.
I could tell you, whoever wins this football game is going to have the most points.
There you go.
All right.
You said you were going to open with that, not close with it.
Good place to end it. What if they tie? Well, I guess they wouldn't win then. I guess no one would win. All right.
No one
fine.
would win.
Yeah, you're right.
If they tie, the Rams win. That's
the Rams win, yeah.
Yeah. Sheesh.
Wild. All right. So I guess that wraps up our Thursday episode. We have Arizona against Seattle in Seattle at CenturyLink Field on Thursday Night Football. Line set at 3. I guess this is it. So we're going to record the full week episode tomorrow. It's going to drop Friday morning. But yeah, as for Tyler Blumenstick, Sam Meehan, Anthony Mano, Nick Tobias, we'll see you tomorrow.